Hi. You have probably watched a few of our other videos and conversations around, and may have heard of me referring to the human state model. I want to give you this is a very short introduction to it. It will help you in understanding who you are and kind of why human beings are like we are. It's going to be done very quick, so I ask you to please forgive me, but I've only got 10 minutes. So here we go. When you are born, you arrive on this earth as what we call a pure consciousness, as a heart. That's how you start life in your fetus, as a fetus. This heart is a state of love. Now what happens is, in order for this heart, this consciousness, to interact and to do what it has to do with the world outside, it creates a thing which we call the higher mind. It's a mind. It's a mind that's huge, it's big, it's vast. And it has a purpose. Its purpose is the purpose of why you're here. To know, to gain knowledge, to learn, to grow, to gain experiences, to express that which lies within the heart, and of course, to create. That's what the higher mind does. Now, somewhere after you're born, and you're kind of a little baby, having fun, eating, sleeping, drinking milk, obviously at the start, pooing, and doing all the stuff that a little baby does, you are in a state of perfect love. You accept all of the people who come towards you. You relate to everyone. You are willing. You don't stand there in judgment of your father and go, "Oh, I don't like your father, you're very ugly." You don't say those things. You're perfectly happy and content with everything that is coming through in your life. If you need to express a sense of discomfort, you cry. If you get angry because you're trying to say something or trying to convey something and people don't seem to understand it, you will throw a temper tantrum and you'll get rid of the anger and you're gone and you're smiling after that. However, somewhere between that first stage, that the day you were born, and the ancients teach us that it is perhaps up to 2 years. In wise and great families, it has happened where children don't actually make this happen till they come to about the age of 2. But somewhere in that early stages, we have a moment in which we create a separation. Because when the heart turns up here, it's connected to everything. That's why it is accepting. Because it is connected, it is one with all that is. There is nothing to fear. There's nothing for the heart to be threatened by. However, at this one point, something happens. It might be that as a little baby, you kind of picked up the keys and put it in the mouth. And at that moment, your dad or your mom just reaches and goes, "Oh, no," and takes it away from you. And the moment you lose that, perhaps at that moment, perhaps at a zillion other ways that it could happen, that moment, you create the notion that you're separate. There is born an I that is separate from all that is. And as a result of that I being separate, it creates what we call the lower mind. This lower mind has two functions: to protect and defend. What? Defend the I. And as a natural extension of this, as you progress on, you get now, hang on, I need all these other skills to make sure that I don't end up dead. And that is called the animal mind. You create this at some point. And the animal mind has two functions: survival of the I, or the entity called I, and the procreation of the entity. So this is what we call the human state model, and you start looking at yourself and you kind of get an idea of what's happening inside you, and the way you relate to your day-to-day life, your children, your parents, your families, your friends, your colleagues. You will start to understand that much of the time you are operating inside what we call the lower mind, or you're operating inside the animal mind. You're always viewing the world from a place of separation and threat. So that is what today most people call the ego, or the egoic mind, the combination of the lower and animal minds. So when you're running around chasing the beautiful men and the beautiful women because you want to have children with them, well, subconsciously, you're not necessarily chasing them at that moment to have children, but actually subconsciously that's what you're trying to do. That's all work of the egoic mind. Because in the heart, that's not what it wants to do. In the heart, there's a completely different journey. It's called love. It is here to experience life. It's to express itself, to create, to gain knowledge, to learn, to grow. That's what it is here for. So look at your life and see what is actually happening. But get this, these are two things. They are dualities. And get this, what's really you is the heart. And its real tool of expression is the higher mind. The ego is another part of you. It is not you. So when you get angry and you get upset and you get hurt, that's not you getting upset and hurt. That's just the ego doing whatever it's doing. And you learning that it is not you who's doing all of those things. It is actually the ego, a part of you, like this thumb. I go and whack this thumb against the chair and go, ow, it hurts. That's not me hurting, it's a thumb hurting. But of course, if I thought that this thumb was me, then I'll think it's me hurting. The same with you. When you're going through your life and you're dealing with everything, just understand something. There are three aspects of you. There is this, which we call the observer. There is this, which we call the observed, because it's the one that's doing all the work. And there is a process of observing. Unfortunately, most of the time, you have no idea that there is an observer and there is a process that you can create called observing. You only know the actual life of being the observed. This is the human state model. It tells you why life is like this and why there's so much tension and stress in everything. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could learn how to bring the other two aspects into your world, to be the observer and to observe the observed, so that you can learn how to master your egoic mind and live as you were meant to live on this earth from your heart. That is my wish for you today, that you will learn this and you will create this in your world, and that you will come out and be the magnificent creature that you came to this earth as, filled with grand possibilities. That is my wish for you and my prayer for you. Thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to teaching you some interesting stuff sometime in the future. Thank you.